Go.
Hi, Jaylen. Good afternoon. Ari Aguiar from ESPN Brazil. I don't want to get me wrong, okay? But it's obviously, that you wanted to win all the other playoff games that you played. But I want to know, in this particular postseason, we watch your eyes and we see more hunger for the victory. I want to know if you agree with this thought, and do you see yourself a different player in this regard compared to the other postseasons that you played?
Uh, you could say that. I like to pride myself is that I always try to play with that fire and that passion. I feel like, and that's what, you know, makes me who I am, the essence of why I play and how I play. But, my experiences, the heartbreaks, the loss have all, kind of cultivated into what you see now. And, I don't want to feel that again. So I think that's fair to say.
Fifth row on the left.
Camaraderie, Mavs Radio Network. Jaylen, you guys have talked about the sacrifice that it's taken to get back to this position. What has that taught you about how you guys have been able to operate in this postseason to be at the level that you guys are playing at right now? What has that sacrifice meant to you personally as you've been able to move and navigate this postseason?
It's been fun. Personally, I think it's been necessary. I think anytime you want to achieve something great, it's going to take a little bit of sacrifice from every individual to get to where you want to go. So me going into this season, I knew that being one of the leaders that, that would be in front of me on my plate. So I didn't mind it, and it's translated it to us being here in the finals. So sacrifice is necessary, not just in sports, but in life if you want to achieve a goal to some degree.
Third row.
Blake Elliott, 105.3 The Fan. Jaylen, teams that go up 2-0 go on in the finals, go up to win the series 86% of the time. How do you kind of keep the focus and kind of keep your foot on the gas and not look ahead to the end of the series and stay hungry for Game 3?
For me, it's different for every individual, but for me, it's almost like you got to trick your mind, almost in a sense, like you almost got to play like you down 0-2 rather than up. And that's hard to do, but like you got to go into that mind frame, that focus is like, nah, we are playing like that, rather than you let comfort, you let some of those things kind of seep in. So you just try to stay focused and and try to harness the mind as much as you can, because the mind is a powerful thing, and it's hard to grasp, some of those things as you are in taking them. But if you can kind of focus your mind on what you wanted to focus on, you'll be surprised at what you can do.
Gary in the front.
Jay and Gary Washington, Boston Globe. How have you bonded after playing against him for so many years? How have you bonded with Drew? It seems like it's been a perfect fit. He's been the consummate teammate. He's a player that seemingly has no enemies around the league, no adversaries. No one has a negative word to say about him. I mean, how have you bonded with him this season, and how have you gotten to know him?
Gotten to know Drew a lot. Drew isn't like I described it in the beginning of the season. He's like an assassin. Like, he just has a will and a might about him, how he plays, that he'll die on the battlefield. And I'm the same. So you recognize that and you respect that. Like, his will is unbreakable. He's gonna show up. He's gonna be there. He's gonna be in a fight with you. And I've been against him on the other side, so you could feel it. You could feel like this dude's not going anywhere. So I think that's where the respect for me and him, just being opponents, but now him being on the same team has been an honor. It's been an honor to be his teammate, just because of how he carries himself, his willingness to sacrifice, his willingness to adapt, and then be successful to what he's adapting to. Like, for example, this year was different for him for last year, but he's like mastered being a corner three-point shooter. Like, he wasn't that at any other point in his career, but he took the role on this new team and developed into almost a new player. And I think I don't overlook stuff like that. I think those are forms of greatness, even though, we expect greatness to be like these things that are so large or, so captivating, but stuff like that doesn't go unnoticed to guys like me. And it's been an honor to be his teammate.
Right here in the front.
Keontae George, NBA player, correspondent. Obviously you've been in this position before. I just want to, ask, how are you able to, keep the, team camaraderie, while adding, a couple high-level guys from last team and coming here, and how are you able to, is it you that's getting them to buy in, or is it almost like a, a group collective thing to just, everybody throw something in the middle?
For sure. So team camaraderie, and you're going to experience this. It's probably the hardest thing to gain in the NBA. Got a bunch of guys, bunch of egos, guys, agents telling them one thing, they feel another way. So having everybody on the same page is probably going to be the hardest thing you're going to be trying to experience throughout your career. I think it always starts from the top. Like you look at the top guys. So with me and JT, we've been here the longest, and we set the tone from the jump. And everybody else kind of has to follow along. And that's kind of what's worked for us. But every locker room, every organization is a little different, and you got to figure out how to get your team into that same, into that same vibe. But it's hard enough to get 2 people on the same page. Trying to get 12 or 15 all the way bought in is going to be some challenges. But, that's where leadership step in. As you develop as a leader, those are the type of things that you learn. You improve, you build relationships with guys. You talk to guys on the court, off the court, they start to trust you. And that's how you start to build, some of those good habits. But it don't happen overnight, I tell you that.
Last 2 questions, standing on your left.
Okay, back here, Jaylen. When you first learned that there was going to be some uncertainty about KP's status, marking him as day-to-day, what was your reaction to learning that? And does anything about that uncertainty change the way that you prepare, that you guys go about getting ready? Or is it sort of same old, same old?
Same old, same old. KP has been tremendous for our group, not just in the playoffs, but all season long. And it's obviously like him on the floor just helps elevate us to a different level. But we've been priding ourselves on next man up mentality. We prepare for these moments to be able to play with and without anyone. So it'll just require somebody else on our team to step up and everybody to buy in to get a full team victory.
Last question, standing on the left.
Hey, Jaylen. Aurelia for the German Basket magazine. With the finals, there comes so much talking, all the comparison, all that stuff. How do you stay focused on keeping up the joy of, playing basketball, that you're actually in the position to play the game because you love it so much? So how do you keep the focus on that with all the other stuff around?
How do I keep the focus? That's a great question. How do I keep the joy? Honestly, just the relationships, the experiences that you have with your teammates, the growth is kind of what brings the joy out. It's like the testimony, just seeing where we were to where we are now, and like that journey to get there is like, that has the joy. I mean, that's where it comes from. It's like just being in those valleys, and now you get into the mountaintops. That's what brings that feeling. And I feel like we're climbing. We're not there yet. But when we get there, all the stuff that's happened before is gonna be appreciated in those